Friends, welcome to the wilderness. Welcome to the wilderness. That's about it. That's my sermon for this evening. Maybe I'll just say that a lot of times. Welcome to the wilderness. So I shared that last week was the epic leave-taking, the Exodus, the crossing to the other side from the scary and bad, known, that we knew we had to leave, to the unknown. Feeling the mud in our toes, holding hands, moving to the other side together, and then dancing and singing. Dancing and singing, we did it. And then immediately turning to see what was ahead of us. Midbar, wilderness. So now, this Parsha, Yitro, we are now in the wilderness, the first full Parsha in the wilderness. And we will be here for all of the rest of the books of Torah. All through Exodus, through Vayikra, Leviticus, through Bamidbar, it even says it in the Midbar, in the wilderness, which has another name called Numbers. And then into Deuteronomy, Devarim, words, all of it from now will be wilderness. And you all know, because many of you know me, I'm keen on the wilderness. I'm keen on Midbar, because that's where we are, really all the time, navigating the wilderness. We just sang so beautifully together, courage, about Ometz Lev, courage. And I think often when we think about courage, it is that kind of Exodus courage, the big leap courage. I'm going to get ready, I'm going to do it, I did it. But then immediately is the wilderness. Right away, no matter what big leap you take, or small leap, or medium leap, it all leads into the wilderness. And there is this special courage, wilderness courage, everyday courage. It doesn't get all the shiny, big cinematic moments, but it is where we are all the time. It is where each of you are, all of us collectively are in the wilderness. It keeps us moving through the daily unfolding of our lives, the everyday conscious, collective wilderness courage. It's in our relationships, it's in our world. It guides us in our moving and our growing. And the same spiritual practice of Ometz Lev, of courage, that's big leap Exodus courage, is also daily. I hesitate to use the word small, because it's deep and wide, everyday wilderness courage. So here we are. We're in the wilderness. And the first thing that happens is we're tended to with our immediate needs, the need to eat. So there's manna, there's bread from the heavens, the immediate needs. But then what needs to happen is the centering on how this is going to go. What is it to be in the wilderness? So God tells Moses to tell the people to prepare, to get ready. Make the people ready today and tomorrow. Wash their clothing. Let them be prepared for the third day. And what happens on the third day? What are they preparing for? It's an encounter at the mountain, a mountain that shakes. There's fire, there's shofar blasts. I always wonder, where do those come from? Shofar blasts and fire, and the mountain shaking, and the people gather. And what happens in this moment of drama? It's the giving, the beginning of the giving of the instructions of Torah. It's the 10 Commandments. The mountain shakes and there's fire and the sounds, and comes down Moses with instructions. I love how dramatic this moment is for such concrete instructions. Moment of divine revelation and transcendence is about our everyday practices. What we are going to do and not do to each other as a community. How we are going to connect with the divine and with each other. That's where we have to begin. I think about the mountain, the shaking mountain, as our deepest values, as our midot, all the things that are most at the foundation of who we are, of compassion and peace and justice and patience and faith, rachamim and emunah and emet and tzedek, all of the values of who we are the mountain. But those are big, lofty ideas. Moses has to come down concretely. We are in the wilderness and we are not sure what is happening. Come down with pieces of rock that have some instructions, specifics. We saw the walls of water. We saw the shaking mountain. Now we need some specifics. Right at the beginning of the journey through the wilderness, we need some specifics. This is what we do in everyday wilderness courage. We are making choices every day about how we are going to be, how we are going to traverse our wilderness. Specific instructions. I will interrupt the negative voice about my body. I will not take the drink. I will tell the doctor what I am willing and not willing to do in treatment. I will walk. I will stay. I will tell you that the joke is offensive. I will engage in difficult conversations with people I know very well. I will engage in difficult conversations with people I don't know very well. I will clarify a boundary I need with you, and then I will do it again. These are the everyday wilderness, conscious, intentional choices and actions. We are here at the foot of the mountain. It's shaking, it's powerful, and what comes down is so specific. Rabbi, I want to be a more spiritually elevated person. How do I do that? Start choosing one thing and do it every day. It's not magic, but it is commitment, and it is intentional, and it is on purpose. What are my values? And then how do I do them every day? We need that in all situations, and we really need it when a new wilderness opens in front of us. A nearby wilderness. I was thinking about the word acute wilderness, but that sounds a little bit too medical. A nearby wilderness, a wilderness that's like this. I remember describing that about an experience I was having some years ago. It's like this. And then I wanted it to go like here, and then I wanted it to go there. But that was going to take some time. And right in this place, right there, that's the moment to say, okay, what are the deepest values here, and how will I act each day, each moment? Act, not just act, speak, not speak. If you are in this kind of unknown right now, this acute unknown, We are here with you as a community, all of us traveling the unknown together in the wilderness. And I want to invite you in a place that can feel like overwhelmed to come down with some specifics on some rocks. What am I going to do right here in this place this week? Alfie Kohn is a thinker and a writer on education and parenting. He always begins with the deepest values and vision of where we want to go, and then how he looks at our education and our parenting to see, are we going there? Are our daily decisions and actions personally, systemically, societally towards children connected to our deepest values? And in doing that, following the values and the research, he has questioned some really profound choices in relating to children, like rewards and punishments. A book he has called Punished by Rewards. Love the titles of his book. Homework, The Homework Myth, Standardized Tests and More, Feel Bad Education. And his book on parenting, unconditional parenting, he does an exercise where he asks a group of parents, and I know many of you have done this in the work in nonviolent parenting, of making a list of what are the values you want your children to embody when they're adults. Oh, I want my child to be kind and compassionate and honest and ethical and with integrity. And then he asked the parents to think about how they are parenting in the everyday small but big choices. And are these daily actions aligned with those values? And if they're not, where are the actions and words and energy taking them if it's not those places that they want their kids to grow into? It's not, well, they'll learn those at some point. Just not here and every day. No, it's here and every day that shape who we are. It's great to go away, like the bat, on retreat, or I'll move to a different town, or I'll change my life entirely, and then I'll be spiritually elevated and transcendent. Let me know how that works out for you. Because it comes down to wherever city you're going to move to, wherever beautiful retreat center, it's still going to be about the everyday of the actions you're making and the choices you're making. These, friends, are the commandments. That's the language our tradition uses, the mitzvot, the commandments. The bat is loving this. It's a hummingbird. It's not a bat. It was eating the flowers. Oh, sucking the nectar. Yeah. The mitzvot, the commandments, that's what they are, divine urgings to live our values every day. We're told in these first 10, keep Shabbat, honor your parents, don't make false witness, don't steal, don't murder. So clear, do's and don'ts. The divine urges, how to relate to God and to each other. What are the divine urges right now for you? 1 to 3 of them. This is what I'm going to say or do. This is what I'm not going to say or do on social media. Like if I see something that really angers me or irritates me, I'm going to wait for 24 hours to respond. That's a clear guidepost. I'm ready for an amen on that. Thank you. I'm going to think about the call that I want to make to the person who I need to not be calling anymore. It's not good for them. It's not good for me. It's not rooted in care and compassion at this point. So instead of calling them, I'm going to call a friend. And I'm going to tell the friend I want to call them, but I'm calling you instead. Everyday actions that embody our values. Find the friend who's okay with you doing that at all hours. They're there. Some of you came to the dialogue we had this past Sunday, and we began with communication guidelines. We always do, because a conversation is shaped differently when you start out with intentional, conscious choices of how you want a difficult conversation to go. It was a meaningful conversation about Israel and Palestine, vulnerable and honest. And we do that by having guidelines, things that we're going to do and not do, rooted in our values. One of them is curiosity, sakranut. And specifically, we're going to be aware of saying things like always and never, and definitive generalizations. We're going to be open to change and growth. We're going to be willing to slow down. These conscious choices change our conversation. So what are the commandments rooted in our values, the divine urgings, the practices for your everyday life right now that you need to navigate the wilderness that you are in? This is a wonderful thing to think about on Shabbos. You have this 25-hour period. What are these things? You're here. The mountain is shaking. And what are you coming out of the mountain with? And we are so much in our lives surrounded by values that don't always align with our deepest values. Values of capital and acquisition and individualism and fame and the shiny objects. And yet here we are inside of community right now, and inside of communities that you're a part of that have different values. Rebecca Solnit shares that vast amounts of how we live, our everyday lives, our interactions, with commitments to family life and friendship and avocation and membership and social and spiritual and political organizations, are in essence indifferent values, are non-capitalist. And activists often speak as though the solutions we need have not yet been launched or invented, as though we're starting from scratch, when often the real goal is to amplify the power and reach of existing alternatives. What we dream of is already present in our world. What we dream of is already present in our world. We can make these conscious choices on purpose in our daily doings, our one foot in front of the other. If we want to go somewhere else than where we're headed, we have to turn our foot and go in that new direction. Our people gathered at the mountain and they were given guidelines, a new way to go, a beginning of a journey through the wilderness. May we head through the wilderness onward with courage, Omeid Slev, and on-purpose actions. May we do it again and again and again, and may we find each other along the way as we go through. Shabbat Shalom.
Got myself so tightly wound, couldn't breathe. I could feel the fire burning underneath. Wanted to get lost, love the questions there, beauty of the truth. I could breathe like air. Then I finally found the signposts in a strange land. Logic dances you from here to there, not fairy